Oh boy, you're gonna want to twist my arm for this one because, yeah, we made a video yesterday talking about the Tom Wilson thing, but the video that I made was made before the entire rest of the story developed, and by that I mean the fine, by that I mean the New York Rangers social media post, and by that I mean the outrage. Let's briefly go over that before we dive into this Kuznetsov thing, but if you hadn't been following the NHL ever since that crazy Tom Wilson thing, then hey, the thing happened, Panarin was injured, okay, now we have Tom Wilson who receives a $5,000 fine by the NHL. Oh man, that's so damaging. Wow, he's really gonna learn from what he did from a $5,000 fine. How crazy is that? We have the justifications for the ruling coming out. This is not what Emily Kaplan thinks about the situation, this is just what she is relaying in terms of how the NHL Department of Player Safety perceived the entire situation. He got fined just for the Buchnevich thing, and that was it. Everything else after that, the Panarin, the throwing, the pulling of the hair, and the shoving to the ice while helmetless, that was just considered, oh, that's normal hockey stuff by the NHL Department of Player Safety. And it's kind of crazy because the entire NHL fan base, aside from Capitals fans, was super against it. And now we're in a position where you had the New York Rangers coming out on social media talking about this horrible act of violence. I think that was the word they used. I'm not sure. You can see it on the screen right now. And how they're so disappointed and how they feel like this is injustice and all that. And they specifically call out George Peros and the Department of Player Safety as well, which is crazy to me. Crazy, crazy, crazy how they can go out there and just exude so much heroic energy to do that. We'll see how exactly this goes on, especially in the next few hours, because the Rangers and the Capitals play again later today. But a guy who is not really guaranteed to be playing later today is Evgeny Kuznetsov. And I mean, this video is being recorded the morning. It's 12:12 a.m. May 5th, Wednesday, so I'll upload this in about 12 hours from now. At the time of recording this video, we don't know if Evgeny Kuznetsov is going to play. The reason for that is because he's been added to the absences list, which is not a great sign at all. He already didn't play the previous game, the entire Panarin-Tom Wilson day. They didn't play him in that game because he, as well as Ilya Samsonov, ended up missing a team event. And so, for disciplinary reasons, they sat him out and they were like, yeah, you're not playing. Here's a tweet from yesterday talking about the status of Evgeny Kuznetsov and Samsonov for Wednesday's game against the Rangers, and how back then, and again I'm talking about yesterday, their status to play was unclear still. Peter Laviolette said the team is working through things inside the room, and Kuznetsov and Samsonov did not dress Monday because of that thing that we discussed. However, that's not all the news that we have on Evgeny Kuznetsov, because bring it to Pierre LeBrun on Insider Trading, who has his own segment on the show talking about some pretty interesting things regarding Evgeny Kuznetsov. Here's the post on the Capitals subreddit, and the title kind of says the entire thing from LeBrun. There are members in the Caps organization that have grown irritated with Evgeny Kuznetsov. The belief is that they may be willing to listen to offers for him this offseason. Now, you want to watch the video, I'll leave a link in the description to the Insider Trading piece as to why there may be Evgeny Kuznetsov concerns within the Capitals organization. But you take a look at the long list of things that has happened over the past few seasons. Firstly, you had of course, the being late to the team meeting thing here, which caused him to be scratched in Monday's game. You also had earlier this season where Kuznetsov, as well as the other 3 Russians on the team, were caught in a hotel room violating the protocols that the NHL had in place for its hockey teams. You had as well a few years ago when Kuznetsov was in another hotel room, and there was that whole, yeah, I'm going to use the C word, because you probably know what that is. Not the C word like the one that you're not allowed to say, but the C word as in that one. Yeah, there was that whole thing that went down as well. And then you also had the concerns as to whether or not Evgeny Kuznetsov just gives a damn as much as he did before whenever he goes out there and he plays on the ice. I've seen a lot of Capitals fans just scrolling through their overall consensus amongst the fans, talking about Kuznetsov in a way that says, this is the kind of guy that when he is on, yeah, he's on. When he wants to be on, he can be a very good NHL game changer. And we know that for sure. Obviously, Stanley Cup champion, one of the best players in that postseason for sure, but after winning that cup, Evgeny Kuznetsov just kind of realized to himself, I've already won a Stanley Cup, what more is there to do here? It appears to me, as a guy who doesn't really watch the Capitals all too much, that Evgeny Kuznetsov is just kind of in that position where he's like, yeah, we're just doing this thing. We're just playing hockey. Hockey is my job, so I'm going to go out there and I'm going to play. You know when you watch hockey and you see the players and you just identify on the ice who is out there to win it? You can tell for Ovechkin, sometimes, yes, he has those weird back-checking shifts that don't really work out all too well, yes, but in general, I think it's easy to take a look at Alex Ovechkin and say that, yeah, this is a guy who's going out there determined to score as many goals as possible because he wants to catch up to Gretzky. For Evgeny Kuznetsov, that same drive, the determination and all that, especially after they won the Cup, hasn't really been there as much as it had been before. So it's the on-ice product, it's the piling of really weird things happening with him and the NHL and its ruling. Obviously, the hotel room things twice, now you have another bout with being on the absences list, as well as that being late to the team meeting kind of thing. Kuznetsov, man, some people in the organization, according to Pierre LeBrun, may be irritated with him, and as a result, may entertain trade offers for him. Evgeny Kuznetsov, if you want to go over the profile this season, he's a guy making a pretty significant amount of money, $7.8 million AAV until 2025. He has a modified no-trade clause, but this season in general, with the Washington Capitals, he's at 29 points in 49 games played. Now, that's actually really not bad. Like, it really could be a lot worse for the Washington Capitals and how exactly this entire profile has come about. But you take a look at some of the other players on this team. For example, TJ Oshie, he's in a position where he's battling hard. He's been one of the fan favorites of the Capitals this season because the effort shows, because the work ethic is all there. Kuznetsov's in that spot where, well, you're making a lot more than TJ Oshie. You're significantly younger than TJ Oshie, but he's out there outworking you, outpacing you, outscoring you too. What's going on here with Kuznetsov, man? And so, with all these factors combined, it's kind of crazy to me to think that he could eventually see his way to the trade block if things trend down this path right here. And furthermore, if you want to go to that route, say, okay, Kuznetsov is on the block, the Capitals are listening to offers for him, what's the price? What would you give up for this kind of guy? Because you know that the Kuznetsov that's suiting up for the Capitals right now is not the best version that Kuznetsov can be in terms of on-ice play, in terms of production, in terms of engagement, as well as in terms of off-ice stuff. I'm going to say stuff because, yeah, that entire grouping of things that he did that got him suspended a few times, yeah, not really the best kinds of things in the world to be involved in. Obviously, you're going out there and acquiring what is one of the better NHL players in the entire league, but are you getting just over a point per game Kuznetsov from 2018, the one that got 32 points in 24 games in the postseason? Crazy, crazy numbers? Or are you going out there getting the one that is missing team functions and is breaking protocols and is looking unengaged out there? It'd be really hard to convince me to give up a first-round pick for that kind of guy, especially if you don't know, you just don't know what kind of version you're getting out there of Kuznetsov. And so, I think it's going to be really interesting to see, firstly, just how the Capitals deal with this. We've seen a whole bunch of other discussion as to whether or not Kuznetsov's recent performance and his overall body of work on and off the ice, is this enough to say, okay, we're going to protect him instead of TJ Oshie? He's only got a modified no trade, so it's not an automatic guaranteed protection against Seattle here. You only get one of those if you have a no-move clause, which is something that Nick Backstrom has, for example, but that's not what Kuznetsov nor TJ Oshie have. Would you rather have a TJ Oshie exposed this year or a Kuznetsov based off of the way they've been playing? And so that's kind of the dilemma that Capitals fans have to deal with, especially learning about this news that some of the Caps management might have just lost their patience with Evgeny Kuznetsov. That's the way Elliotte Friedman put it out there on the recent 31 Thoughts article. So talk to me in the comments what you think about this entire Kuznetsov thing. It's kind of funny that we have two kind of pretty big stories going on about the Capitals and the Rangers in particular at this time. Obviously, the Wilson-Panarin thing is going to take all precedence, but this Kuznetsov thing has kind of flown down under the radar, in my opinion, so that's kind of why I wanted to make a video about it here, because it is pretty big. So let me know in the comments what you think about this entire situation here. Should, would, or could the Capitals trade Evgeny Kuznetsov, considering the on-ice production, considering the on-ice effort, and all the off-ice stuff too? Talk to me in the comments whether you enjoyed this video. And bye.